This is the X35, Acer's ultimate ultra-wide gaming monitor, with 200Hz, Gsync, 1000 nit HDR, and a full array local dimming system. It is the much anticipated rival to Asus's PG35VQ, with both of them touting incredible specs for truly the most ultimate gaming experience. But the Acer variant actually undercuts Asus by around about £300. So is this the one to buy? Well, in a word, yes. But first, it's pre-roll time, as this video is sponsored by Asus and their awesome new graphics card trade-in program. If you've got your eye on a shiny new GPU, it's never been so easy to upgrade your gaming arsenal. Simply find an Asus graphics card that takes your fancy, use their handy-dandy trade-up tool to see what your current GPU is worth, purchase your new graphics card from a qualifying retailer, and then send in your old card and get paid. It's super easy, simply hit the link in the description below. But do hurry, this offer ends on the 30th of August, so you better be fast. The X35 then. Here's the most important things that I really think you need to know. Firstly, the 200Hz VA panel sports a resolution of 3440 by 1440, and it's identical to the ones found in both of the competitors from AOC and Asus. While the image quality should of course nearly be identical across all three, the design of the X35 is actually quite different to the ROG approach, and I'd definitely say this is in a good way. It's just a fair bit less bulky, and swapping from the 35VQ to the X35 actually made me do a little bit of a double take, questioning whether the screen itself was that little bit smaller. The stand is also designed in just a much more practical manner, as the behemoth display doesn't protrude onto the desk quite so much, which makes it far easier to push it to the back of the wall and then gain that little bit extra distance between your face and the screen. All of the key adjustments are here, including plenty of swivel, tilt and height adjust, and RGB can of course be found around the back of the display to achieve the highest level of immersion possible. That was a joke, it's completely pointless. That joke was also completely pointless. Get yourself to the desktop and you'll be greeted with marvellous image quality, thanks to the quantum dot equipped VA panel. It's not the absolute best I've ever seen, as the IPS X27 I'd say still beats it out in this regard, but it really is quite impressive, with rich colours and high contrast, even with the variable backlight disabled. But for some reason there's actually a setting in the menu system that tries to emulate an sRGB mode, but ends up just making everything look a little bit washed out and basically ruining the contrast. And the same goes if you do end up getting the AOC monitor, or the Asus monitor. I think both of them have this same setting, so it's worth going through the menu system and actually finding the setting that says sRGB and toggling it to see if you're getting the best image quality possible, because I really wouldn't want you to spend all of this money on a monitor and then basically not actually unlock its true potential because it's been set up wrong in the first place. Annoying. So assuming it's set up correctly, the display is then capable of up to 90% of the DCI P3 color space, which means if you're working with HDR, it's actually a pretty solid choice for editors come gamers. But unlike the 27-inch models, I wouldn't say that you should specifically buy this if you're after something with the best colour accuracy, as while it is ideal for gaming, it's not quite there for colour critical applications, and at this level I'd say you can get better, even for less cash. So gaming is very much what this thing is all about. Yes, it is a do-it-all display, but in terms of the actual gaming experience, this thing is absolutely mind-blowing. It's something I really think you actually need to see and experience to actually understand just the level of difference that this can make. And yes, it is going to only be in certain games that you're going to get the best experience, but it is absolutely incredible. You probably know by now that I play a lot of Apex Legends. Like the PG35VQ before it, this monitor provides a superbly slick level of fluidness, and you feel supremely attached to the game in a way that just can't quite be appreciated without going hands-on. There are very few monitors that come close to this for all-round immersion, smoothness and outright image quality all in the same package. And the day that Acer comes to collect this review sample is going to feel like such a huge step back and be a very sad day indeed. Unfortunately, there is a little bit of a negative that I do need to report with this in terms of its gaming performance, and that is actually with the overdrive settings. It seems that they could have calibrated it a little bit better, because at the moment you have the choice between Extreme, which has a lot of overshoot, which gives you this horrible black smeary line across the screen that actually is worse in some ways than the ghosting, but then also if you have it on the normal setting, you get rid of that problem, but then you add the ghosting and smeariness when you're, I'd say, around about 80 to 90 frames a second or less. That's when you start to notice some of these artifacts in really fast-paced games. The name of the game with this monitor though is definitely HDR, as oh boy, this thing is just epic. I've had such a blast playing all of these HDR titles, it's really genuinely starting to make me think about upgrading my monitor to the full-fat high dynamic range experience. And I hate to use the word, but this monitor is actually pretty much flawless in this department, as you get incredible colour depth and richness, awesome contrast and beaming highlights, all at the same time. Far Cry 5 is my go-to for HDR testing, and sure enough I was as impressed as I've always been, with Montana brought to life in such a jaw-dropping way. The footage I take always seems to just get so blown out when filming in HDR, but I assure you, IRL, this thing will blow you away, and actually make you think that spending over $2 on a gaming display was actually worth it. But don't think that it's just Far Cry, as every HDR title I've tested has actually seen a big boost. Destiny 2 was arguably just as impressive, and it ran faster than Apex to boot, and therefore was the perfect example of next generation PC gaming. Halo Wars 2 proved a little less impactful as you'd probably expect, but again, it's still a big step up with HDR on versus off. And Windows 10 seems to be getting a lot more intelligent now and actually showing HDR games correctly. I didn't have any issues getting each of the games to run in their full high dynamic range glory. Now I know you guys are probably wondering about artifacting, backlight bleed, blooming, all of this stuff. And actually with this, during normal use, I haven't noticed any negative artifacts at all. This will likely change if you sit yourself in a pitch black room and then leave the variable backlight on in the desktop, but the 512 local dimming zones actually do a really standout job at balancing out the brightest parts of the images with the darks. Night scenes can look just as punchy in their own right as the blinding sunny ones, and the only obvious signs of haloing or blooming was on mouse cursors in Destiny 2. So yes, maybe this isn't completely perfect, and the mini LED technology that's sure to come in the future will probably make it a whole lot better, but for now, this is as good as it gets, and good is a huge understatement. So then, for the exciting bit, the conclusion. Is this finally the ultimate gaming monitor that is everything we've been waiting for and that you should actually buy? Well, I think it's as close as we're going to get. And while I'm still really excited to see what AOC can do and maybe even undercut Acer who are undercutting Asus, I think this is a really strong option. There are only a couple of things I would like to see addressed. The first one, and probably the most important one, is that overdrive setting. If Acer can actually implement something that is halfway between those two settings, I'm telling you, it's going to make such a big difference, and it really will make me more comfortable to recommend that people spend such a huge amount of money on a monitor. But then the other thing is this really, really annoying fan that's in the bottom of this monitor, or in the middle, or wherever it is. You can see how angry I'm getting just talking about it. And the thing that makes me so angry about it isn't that it's so loud. You'll remember in the X37 review, that had a really loud fan that would spin up when you're playing HDR games, to the point where it was just like, why am I bothering spending all of this money for this? This is not good enough. This is the opposite problem. It has a fan that comes on and goes, woo, woo, when it's not doing anything now. And then in games it's fine. They need to adjust the spin up time, or not have it on or something, because thing is, if it was on all of the time, this very low hum, it would be fine, but you'd only notice it because it's off, then it comes on. Then about 30 seconds later it goes off again and then on. It's doing it right now. It's driving me insane. Seriously, Acer, please fix this, and then I will probably buy your monitor. I can't. It's driving me crazy. So calming down for a second, if these issues can be addressed, then this really would be not only the ultimate gaming monitor, but the ultimate gaming monitor that you should actually buy. As while it is very expensive, it is class leading in its performance, with a lower price tag that actually puts Asus to shame. It's only AOC that can stop them now, so get subscribed to see how they fare when I get their review sample, hopefully at an even lower cost. If you are interested in the current pricing on this, I will leave my Amazon affiliate links down in the description below. And of course, while you're down there, don't forget to check out our sponsor spot, the Asus Trade Up program. as if you've been itching to get that upgrade sorted for your GPU, now is definitely the perfect time. We not only have a fantastic selection of cutting-edge graphics cards to choose from, but an awesome solution to make the upgrade process easier than ever. Upgrade your 1050 Ti to a 2060 Super, for instance, and you'll actually get £105 for your old card. Really not too shabby. But do be quick, as this offer ends on the 30th of August, so get in there while you can. Thank you so much for checking out this video, I really appreciate it. Do get subscribed to see the AOC review, as well as loads of other PC builds and monitor reviews. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, it helps out so much you wouldn't believe. And do let me know your thoughts. Is this finally the monitor that sells the HDR experience for everyone, or is £2,299 still a little bit too expensive for most people? Really interested to hear your thoughts. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.